Happy Thursday, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Sask Sports Show on Amateur Sports TV, brought to you by Southwest Terminal. My guest tonight, I think everyone in Canada has heard this young man's name and or knows who he is. He made history last summer, becoming the first ever player to be granted exceptional player status in the WHL to play as a 15-year-old. Connor Bedard will be joining me on the show tonight. Connor was drafted first overall in the 2020 WHL Bantam Draft by the Regina Pats. I'll be catching up with Connor about him playing in Sweden for HV71 J18 and J20. Talk about the exceptional status process, his playing time for the West Van Academy Warriors, U15 prep and U18 prep, and much more. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Well, without further ado, the man of the hour, Connor Bedard. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Well, I'm doing pretty good. I appreciate you jumping on the show with me tonight.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Oh, no worries. I guess right out of the gate, what have you been up to? How was your Christmas and New Year's down in Vancouver?
Yeah, it was good. My dad's birthday is actually on the 31st, so kind of celebrate that, and then yeah, Christmas was good.
Did you get any some new hockey gear that you been waiting to try out?
No, mostly just like clothes and that sort of stuff.
Okay. So what have you been doing to keep yourself busy, after you got back from Sweden, and also after Christmas I know in BC I don't know if you're allowed to play. I don't think so, but what have you been able to do to keep yourself busy?
Yeah, just kind of like summer stuff, like just training, working out. We can't play games obviously here. I don't think you really can anywhere right now, but kind of just getting on the ice and getting in the gym.
So what kind of things are you working on, or are you working on, that through this extended off season?
Kind of like a bit of everything. I mean, a lot of speed and power and stuff in the gym, and then working on the usual stuff on the ice. But I think the main focus for me has been speed.
Well, yeah, I know I've watched some of your highlight tapes, and you definitely get up and down the ice pretty fast, and you have a pretty incredible shot.
Yeah, thank you.
No worries. So, talking about you going over to Sweden, I know a lot of people were criticizing you and your family on social media about making that choice, especially during COVID. How did that whole conversation go, and what made you finally go over there and practice with HV71 and play a few games?
Yeah, my agency kind of brought it up, and they said they thought it was a good idea just in case we didn't know what was going on with the dub, and whether I'd be able to play games over here. So kind of going there was like a bit of just to get some games in, and obviously I was going to stay for like almost a month longer and play 10, 15 more games, but then they kind of got shut down. But yeah, I think it was a great experience too, getting to go across the world and kind of see some differences there. But yeah, it was kind of just brought up by my agency, and then they thought it was the best thing, so I agreed, and yeah, I went over there.
Well, I know you, and I think there's a few other WHL players trying to make that jump to go over and play in Europe. Obviously the dub was canceled, and there was no start date. It got pushed back, I think, 3 times now. For your development, do you feel that was a smart move to go over there and get more hockey and at least play some actual competitive games?
Yeah, the little games I played, I think playing is the best way of development. I think being able to think the game is probably the most important part. So getting some games in was good, and then obviously the training, I was kind of doing a lot of similar stuff. It was good. I'd be able to go to the gym whenever, and kind of they have like a nice facility for like shooting pucks and stuff. So it was really good that way, and then getting some games in was good.
So did they obviously they came to your agent and then they proposed this opportunity for you to come over and play with their in their junior league?
I'm not really sure how it works. I think my agency kind of has a relationship with them, and then they kind of like said something, but I'm not really too sure about all that.
Okay, so where exactly in Sweden were you?
It's called like Yong Shipping or something. I'm probably pronouncing it wrong, but it's a small town in there, and yeah, it was a nice place.
What kind of what was the culture like? The culture shock for you going from um, in Vancouver to Sweden.
I mean, it was pretty easy, like transition. I think the only big thing was the language, but they all spoke pretty good English, so that wasn't too bad. But just kind of like, when they're talking, they're speaking Swedish and stuff. But other than the language, I didn't find it like too difficult.
I imagine sometimes you felt left out of the conversation because
Yeah,
you couldn't really understand what they were saying, eh?
yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Um, what kind of what kind of style of hockey? Like, what's the main difference between their style of hockey over there in Europe compared to the style that we play here in Canada?
I'd say like possession wise, like I feel like it's a bigger ice, obviously, so I think kind of keeping possession a bit and less dumping it in and that stuff. But honestly, when I was playing, it wasn't like I was like had to change anything. I felt like it was pretty normal, but obviously you just play a bit different on that ice.
Was it a little bit of an adjustment for you to get used to that bigger ice?
I didn't really notice it too much, so that wasn't a huge issue.
I can imagine you're you have more opportunities for especially someone with your speed to be able to make some more opportunities, especially with that wider ice to develop your skills.
Yeah, I think there's probably a bit more room out there, obviously, but I mean overall I didn't find it too different. But there's definitely some things I said possession and that stuff, and there is a bit more room.
What kind of development, like going over there, how did that help your development of your skills, your game, being able to actually play?
Yeah, I mean, I think every year, starting in September, you'd usually be playing, so that was just good to kind of get some games in. But I mean, it was a lot of the stuff I do here too. But I think they're a huge emphasis on like skill development and stuff, which is the same here, I think. But you see those guys come over, like a lot of I'm a big Canuck guy, so I know a lot of those Swedes that come and they do stuff differently, and obviously we do stuff differently. So I think just being able to be exposed to some different stuff.
What how are their junior programs? Like you played in for the J18 and also the J20. So what was the biggest difference for you having to play against kids that were 4 or 5 years older than you were, having to be able to adapt to that?
Yeah, for sure. It was first game was pretty tough, but I think that was a lot of stuff with not playing for a long time, and they're bigger and that stuff. That's what I was preparing for the dub too. It's a U20 league, so I think just kind of they're a bit bigger, a bit faster, so kind of just being able to think your way around that.
What kind of kind of take me through a day of the HV71, like from practice, kind of what things do you guys work on every day? Do you guys practice every day? How frequent are their games? That kind of thing.
Yeah, so we'll usually like Monday to Wednesday we'll do like a couple skates, and then like in the morning we'll work out. We would and then do like skills stuff, and then we do like an afternoon practice where we'd do like battle drills, and maybe if they were doing like systems or stuff like that. But it was like that, and then Thursday, Friday was usually just one skate, and then same with Saturday, and then Sundays off. But they'd probably play like 2 games a week.
Well, I think you did pretty well for yourself. You played in, what was it, 5 games, and you got
Yeah,
6 points. So, it seems like you found your game when you needed it.
yeah. I think it went well. I think the first game was the toughest one, and then I kind of got used to it after that. But I could have done a bit better. But overall, I think I did pretty well.
Well, and I remember I was talking with your dad trying to set this up back in November, and he said you were coming back in November. Would you have wanted to stay longer if you could have?
Yeah, I was gonna stay till the 3rd of December. So I would have got that was probably 10 more games and maybe, which would have definitely been nice, preparing for our season. But I think they kind of got shut down, and then practices and stuff weren't really going, so I decided to come home. But it was a great experience, and those 10 extra games would have been nice. But it's still good to get those few in.
Well, how was it for when you got back and you had to quarantine for 2 weeks? Were you going stir crazy, or you were able to set yourself up a little home gym and you can still practice, do some conditioning and whatnot in your house?
Yeah, my trainer actually brought like some weights and stuff over like before I came, so I could set up a pretty solid gym downstairs, and then I was able to I got like a nice shooting setup, so I was able to do that. But not getting on the ice is annoying, but it wasn't too bad.
Well, that's pretty good then. And did either of your parents go with you to Sweden?
No, actually, my sister ended up coming.
Oh, so it must have been a nice trip for her to experience another country.
Yeah, yeah, it was cool. She was supposed to be in university, so she kind of was like, it'd be good to get somewhere and have that experience. I think.
A trip to Sweden, I don't think anybody would turn that down.
Yeah, yeah. Not every day you get to go across the world.
Well, that's pretty exciting that you were able to, like I've seen some videos of you practicing. And my question is in Sweden, just like all around Europe and the junior leagues, are they still with the advertising on all the equipment?
Yeah, yeah. They got on the pants and on the helmet. They got some stuff. I think it looks pretty good.
Would you would you think that would look good in like North American hockey with all the advertising that they do over there?
I don't know. It depends. Like I guess the gear and stuff. But that's good. But over here there's all good. Look pretty good too. So it depends on the gear. I think.
Oh well, it's exciting stuff that you got to go over to Sweden and play some hockey and get some competitive games in. Probably more than a lot of people have in Canada, which is awesome. And
Yeah.
so it's gonna lead us into our first commercial break. Everyone's favorite time of the show, a commercial time. So when we get back, we're gonna be discussing with Connor about the process of the being granted exceptional player status in the WHL. So we'll have that and more when we come back. And we're back with another episode of the Sask Sports Show right here on Amateur Sports TV. I'm with my guest, Connor Bedard. Before the break, we talked about his time that he spent in Sweden, and we are going to get right into the process of being granted exceptional player status. So right out of the gate, Connor, I would, what was the whole process from start to finish of you becoming the first ever WHL player to be granted exceptional player status?
Yeah, so like late November, early December, I applied for it, and then it was kind of like I wrote an essay to Hockey Canada about like stuff why I think I should get it, and just stuff about me. And then I went for an interview, and then other than that, it was kind of just watching me play hockey, and I filled out like one questionnaire, but mostly just like kind of being scouted and that stuff.
So what did you have to write your essay on?
That was kind of just like a bit about me, and then like in the interview, he kind of asked me a few questions, and I kind of wrote a bit about that.
Okay. So it's kind of you're basically applying for a job in a sense.
Yeah, a bit.
So when did you find out that you were granted that exceptional player status?
I was like late March, I think, and I kind of just got a call from my agent, and he gave me the news.
And what was explain to me the feeling that was going through, that you had when you got the call?
Yeah, I was pretty pumped. Obviously, it was like weird. Wasn't expecting that and didn't really know how to react, but it was definitely something really cool for me, and I was very grateful to get that opportunity.
Well, I imagine that you were flooded with texts and emails and whatnot from family, friends, and people that you've probably never even met before.
Yeah, phone was blowing up a bit, but it was good. I tried to respond to as many people as I could, and it was definitely a really cool experience.
What was the like going through the whole process of the exceptional status? Like what was it like for you? Did you feel any pressure to perform at a high level or play well or do well in your essay or your interview, or you just kind of just went out there and just played your game?
Yeah, I kind of just played. I mean, I definitely get nervous, but I think I'm pretty good at channeling that a bit. And I think I'm pretty hard on myself. So if I didn't play well, I'd be the first critic. Kind of that wouldn't really be as much what I'm thinking about. But yeah, definitely. I mean, I kind of knew when they were coming, and the first time actually I didn't play great, and then the next few I played a lot better, and so I didn't really know what was going to happen, but I kind of was able to just go out and play.
And from what I've read about the exceptional status, I guess process is that it's more than just having skill. From what you have to be mentored and tough. Obviously, a gifted hockey player, but also being able to withstand playing 68 games in a season plus however many in the playoffs, playing against kids that are 3-4 years older than you. Did you that's just kind of my grasp of it. Did you feel the same as well, that's what they were kind of scouting you on?
Definitely, yeah. There's the base hockey skill, and then there's examples like when I was playing, like, are you afraid to kind of get hit and that stuff? And because if you are in that, you're not really going to be able to against those older guys. And then there's like school, you got to be decent in school, and then kind of like just how mature you are, and if you'd be able to handle being away from home and that sort of stuff.
Well, you seems like they've thought that you were going to be able to fit that bill and get granted granted you exceptional player status, which from me to you, congratulations. That's an honor. Obviously, you made history, so that's pretty exciting for you.
Yeah, thank you. It's definitely a huge honor to get that.
Okay, so you got granted exceptional player status. Take me to the draft. Did you know that you were going to get taken first overall by the Regina Pats, or was there kind of some feeling that you might go top 5? Did the Regina Pats contact you along with other teams? Like, how did that whole draft process go for you?
Yeah, I actually signed the day before the draft, so I kind of knew where I was going to go, and then they talked to me lots before the draft, and obviously after the draft. So it was definitely still hearing your name, getting calls, a pretty special feeling. But I did sign the day before, so I kind of knew where I was going to end up.
And once you were drafted first overall to the Regina Pats, what kind of texts and emails and interviews did you get? Because obviously you got a bunch of interviews from your exceptional status being granted that. Kind of run me through the whole process of how many interviews and obviously phone interviews, kind of video interviews like this, that did you have to do?
I couldn't put a number on it, but I was like, after exceptional, it was probably about one a day for a good bit, and then after I got drafted, it was on like Regina media kind of news stuff over there, more so, and then it was pretty easy to handle though. Like everyone made it pretty easy, so it was enjoyable for me.
So how, being that first overall draft pick, like how do you think you'll fit into the Pats lineup? Obviously, they're kind of in a rebuilding stage of the team. Yeah, just to kind of explain to me how you think you'll fit in there.
Yeah, that's hard for me to answer because I haven't really seen the team and I don't really know the league well enough to kind of say how well I think I'm going to do. But kind of whatever Dave, my coach, kind of thinks is best, and obviously I have to perform well to get minutes and get on like power play time and that sort of stuff. But I think I'm not really sure where I'll end up sliding in the lineup, but I think it'll all depend on my performance.
Well, do you think that like with all this pressure of being granted exceptional player status, going first overall to the Regina Pats, all this pressure being on you, what kind of stress relievers do you do for yourself to just make you just step back and just remember that you're only a 15-year-old kid?
Yeah, I think I'm not really thinking about, who I am too much necessarily. I'm kind of, just living my life, and I feel like I'm pretty laid back guy, so I'm able to, not think about that, and, just like hanging out with friends or something like that, I'm still doing, normally. But, it is definitely something that there is, and that's going to be something I have to deal with. But, if that is going away, that means, I'm not doing something right, and I'm not performing the way I want to, and the way I'm seeing that is supposed to. But I'm not really waking up and thinking, oh, there's someone here that's thinking that I'm gonna make the NHL or that I'm gonna be gonna have a good or bad career. But I think just I'm doing normal stuff is obviously I'm a teenager, so just stuff like that, kind of
Just having fun, living life and loving it kind of thing.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, that's good. And, I hope that, like you said, you're your own critic. But with all this, the whole probably pressure on yourself, I really hope that, you don't let it get to you or put too much pressure on yourself that you come out of the gates and you like that pressure just, takes over you.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there's definitely a line I gotta give for myself, and reading. I don't really read much about myself, obviously, but I'm definitely the hardest on myself out of people. So if I have a good game, I'm kind of upset if I hit a post or something, and then if I play a bad game, I'm kind of trying to make sure I play a good one the next time.
What do you think the biggest challenge going from playing U18? You played one season of U18 prep at West Van Academy for the Warriors. The biggest difference between that and then going into the WHL, what is the biggest thing that you're going to work on different to be able to to play night in and night out?
Yeah, I think it's just going to be speed and strength of those guys. They're men, a lot of them, so it's just going to be that. But I think it's going to be the biggest thing is just going to be the way I think the game, and if I'm able to think around that kind of, I'm not going to be able to go around all the D and that stuff. I'm going to kind of have to think the game a lot more than I would have even last year. Last year was it still was a great league and all, but it's going to be a lot faster and the guys are going to be a lot stronger. So So like just being able to think is going to be the biggest thing.
Well, I imagine you're really excited though to get going. Obviously, you would have already started and been playing, and almost at this point, you just be coming back from your Christmas break and probably playing 6 games into the new year, and then making hopefully trying to make a playoff run. So, but I imagine you're probably pretty excited to actually start.
Yeah, I'm definitely itching to play some games.
Was there some relief for you when the WHL did make a statement saying that they're going to be committing to 24 games this season at least?
Yeah, it definitely was good to hear. Obviously, I mean, it's still anything can happen, but it's good to hear that they're on board with getting something going. Yeah, and whenever that is, I'll be pretty pumped to get out there and get going.
Yeah, I can't imagine sitting at home and especially yourself being probably playing hockey all the time, not being able to really obviously play any competitive games, or all you're doing is practicing, or just playing around, working out kind of stuff. So I can imagine that you're probably just raring to go.
Yeah, definitely. It's first time for I don't know 10 years I've been playing around this time, so it's going to be good to get going.
What do with you moving out to Regina from Vancouver, for you, like, would this be the first time you'll be leaving home for a long period of time from your family? And if so, what what are going to be the difficulties with that?
Yeah, I've always been playing at home, so other than like week trips or something, I've always been at home. But I think it'll be good, but it's definitely going to be a lot different. Away from your parents and that sort of comfort at home, and that kind of recognizing everything and stuff. But I think I'll be able to handle it. I think they got good things going there and everything. So it is definitely going to be different, but I think I should be able to be okay.
You'll have to get used to the really, really cold Saskatchewan winters out here.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I need to definitely update my wardrobe.
Yeah, it gets quite chilly, down to minus 40 or 50 with the wind chill here in the cold the cold parts of
Yeah,
the winter.
yeah. When it's minus 5 out here, everyone's pretty cold, so it's gonna be different.
Well, like has uh, I imagine that you've probably been back in talks back and forth with the Regina Pats organization. Have they kind of give you any sort of timeline that they want you to at least come out to Regina to maybe start practicing or anything, or are you just waiting? Are they just waiting for that the league to make that start date so they can get you out there?
Yeah, honestly, right now it's kind of up in the air. They're gonna, obviously hear some stuff from the league and when they're gonna bring us out. But right now I'm not really sure. I'm kind of just waiting to hear that.
Oh, well, I let's hope that they make a date here soon so we can get at least 24 games of the junior of WHL season started, because I imagine a lot of players are raring to go that haven't really played any hockey.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so it's gonna lead us right into everyone's favorite part of the show, commercial time. So we're gonna be right back with Connor, and when we come back, we're gonna get right into Connor's playing career, growing up playing for the North Shore Winter Club and also for the West Van Academy Warriors U15 and also U18. So all that and more when we come back. Okay, we're back. Sports TV. I'm your host, JD Hott, and I'm joined by Connor Bedard. Before the break, we talked about the whole process that he had to go through to get exceptional player status through in the WHL. So now we're going to kind of dive into Connor's playing career. So right out of the gates, kind of did you ever think that you would get to this point, that you'd get granted exceptional player status, get drafted first overall, play in the WHL? Like, did you ever, when you were younger, imagine yourself in this moment right now?
Not really. I mean, when McDavid got the exceptional, I think I was around 6 or 7, and I heard it, and then I was like, that would be pretty cool. But I never really thought until that upcoming midget season that that would be a reality for me.
Well, just like everybody, I, is growing up, kind of want to idol your favorite hockey players and try to do what they do, but and whatnot.
Yeah, definitely. Even even here, I've been getting to skate with Barzell a lot and stuff, and he tells me a lot because we've been kind of down the same road a bit, going first overall and going into the dubs. So I think he's been great.
Well, it's having an NHLer like that to kind of show you the ropes. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, definitely. He's been good.
Well, when did you know that you were a gifted hockey player?
I don't know. I mean, I never really thought too much about it, but I guess like probably like after I started a bit, I guess I was pretty good, but I never really thought too much of it.
Well, obviously, when you were a kid, and like what kind of tell me about growing up playing hockey for yourself.
Yeah, it was pretty much all I did for a good amount of time. It's funny because I'd be in my house and I'd be playing mini sticks for like, 6, 7 hours a day or something crazy. And, my mom now would like, show me everywhere where I messed up the floors and, broke everything. So, it kind of started there and watching a lot. I've obviously here in Vancouver, we got the Canucks and I've been a huge fan of them. And then, obviously getting on the ice at North Shore, they got like this thing where all the members can kind of go on this free ice, and you can kind of like, I would always go with like some buddies and spend the day there a lot. So I think that's been huge, kind of helping with creativity and stuff. All those things. A lot of that isn't really structured drills and stuff. I think a lot of it's just imagination.
Well, and having fun, and then using those things that you taught yourself in a game, and you're like, whoa, it actually worked this time.
Yeah, definitely.
So if how would you describe if your hockey game was, a dating profile, how would you describe it? Describe yourself and your game. Kind of what would you say?
Probably pretty hard worker in the games and stuff, but I think I'm pretty good 200-foot center. I think my shot is probably my biggest weapon, but I think I can see the ice well, but I think I'm just good 200-foot center that's able to put the puck in the net.
And like you said, you have that hockey vision. Like, do you kind of know where everybody is all the time on the ice?
I mean, I hope so, but there's definitely times where I make the wrong play. I mean, everyone does, but I think I mean that's one of my better things in my game, I think, and that's important. But like I said, I'm not going to see everyone all the time, but I think that's it's pretty good.
Well, you're also 15 too. Like, your game is still evolving. You as a person is evolving. You're growing. You're only, like I said, you're only 15. You're gonna make mistakes, and like you said, you're the biggest critic on yourself. So obviously you're gonna learn from them, which is good, and just be that much better the next game.
Yeah, definitely. I think these past few years we've been able to have film too. Like they film our games, so we get to watch those and stuff, which is helpful.
Yeah, I know, being able to watch yourself and seeing what you're doing, and I made an errant pass over there, or I didn't see that there was a winger behind me coming, a trailer or something like that. It definitely helps your game, I feel, if you can watch yourself.
Yeah, definitely, and learning some patterns of your line mates and stuff, and just seeing kind of some good plays that you can create.
Well, kind of run me through your parents' involvement in your hockey career. Like, who was the one that had to, wake up at 6 a.m. to take you to practice, or drive you to tournaments and whatnot?
I think it was a big team effort. My dad works early. He's a logger, so he's up early, and outside and stuff. So it was early mornings. My mom would take me a lot, and then tournaments would usually be my dad in games and stuff like that. He'd take me there, and he's a big fan of the game, so he'd usually be the one there.
So, what's like your parents' involvement? Were they kind of the kind of parents that would kind of tell you what you did wrong, or would they obviously know that you knew what you did wrong and you'll fix it, kind of thing?
I mean, usually they wouldn't really say too much. My dad's he's pretty smart when he's watching the game. He kind of can see a lot. Not playing, but when he's watching. So I think he would know, but he wasn't like hard on me or anything. I think they were really good at that sort of stuff and let me kind of learn. But if I asked him a question, he'd always do really well answering it. And then my mom she's not really she didn't watch too many games, but when she wouldn't really tell me like what I'm doing wrong. I don't think she would know too much what I'm doing wrong, but I think they've definitely been the reason I am where I am, and they've been pretty perfect that way.
Well, I imagine, like, was your mom one of those kind of parents that you went into the corner to get a puck and she could see somebody coming at you and she was like, ah?
Yeah, I mean, I'd imagine, but yeah, she can get probably pretty nervous.
Oh, I think any parent would, honestly. They're,
Yeah.
playing, especially playing against big guys too. When you were in midget, or probably in Bantam too, you're playing against guys that are either the same size as you or bigger. So I can imagine that your mom or both your parents are sometimes a little eerie.
Yeah, I definitely would get creamed the odd time too, so that wouldn't help.
So before you went to the West Van Academy, you played at the North Shore Winter Club for your Pee Wee, and you got to play in the prestigious Quebec Pee Wee or Quebec International Pee Wee Hockey Tournament twice. Like you played with players like we talked about, Mats Lindgren, and you played with Fraser Minton as well on that team. And kind of run me through that whole experience. Like, what kind of teams did you guys get to play? What things you get to do? Obviously, you're in Quebec, so it's pretty cool. You're going to a tournament across the country. Kind of just describe how the whole experience was for you.
Yeah, yeah. Well, Minty he was at West Van, so he was later, but Matsy was there, yeah. So I think when you're young, you don't go places as much, so getting to go there was definitely pretty cool, and you hear all the history about it and stuff, and getting to go twice was obviously awesome. So those were really cool tournament to play, and we got to play in like it was a really nice rink. I forget what it like video something like that. Everything about it was like so professional and super cool to be there.
So when you went, how many like international teams were there? Like, were there teams from Europe, or were there just teams from the United States?
There were teams everywhere. Like there's so many divisions too. So I think like one had like Team Australia or something. So yeah, it was pretty cool. All the teams there. I don't know how many teams are there, but it's definitely in the hundreds, I think.
So it's definitely something you would recommend if possible to any kid that's in Pee Wee if they could get a chance to go.
Yeah, definitely. If you get the opportunity, it's real cool and something you'll remember a long time.
Okay. Yeah, no, I've heard about it. Never really seen much clips, but I know a lot of the obviously a lot of the NHLers, young NHLers or older. They've all, I think, played in that tournament as a peewee. So it's a pretty prestigious tournament to go to.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so you went from, you made your jump from the North Shore Winter Club to the West Van Academy. What made you choose West Van? Because obviously there's so many hockey academies down in the Vancouver area. You got Yale Hockey Academy, you got Delta Hockey Academy, you have Burnaby Winter Club. Then obviously in the interior you have the Okanagan Hockey Academy, Pursuit of Excellence. So many more that I probably missed, but what made you choose West Van?
There's lots of things. I think it's the closest one to my house, and going in there, my Bantam coach John Calvano, I knew him really well from being coached by him when I was younger. And then I knew a lot of people going, and people that have went saying how good of a place it is to be, and then it was a great school. We went to Sentinel, so I think everything about it was a great fit for me.
So mainly what it came down to for you was you knew the coach, and also the distance, was a factor too. So you didn't have to travel too far to the hockey academy.
Yeah, those are definitely two big things.
Okay. So you're at school in the morning. Kind of take me through a day at the West Van Hockey Academy. Like, what kind of classes do you take? Is it like regular school? What kind of development do you do during the day? Hockey practices and whatnot with the team. Kind of run me through that.
Yeah, we go to school 8:30. We'd start. It was just regular high school, so I'd go to my regular classes and stuff, and then we'd get out at like 12:45, 12:50, somewhere around there, and then in Bantam we would bus out to North Van and practice there and work out there, and then in midget we just walk down to Hollyburn, which is like a 5-10 minute walk from our school. So everything was really convenient, and I was definitely happy I ended up going there.
And from what I've seen, it seems like it's a pretty awesome school to go to. And like with all the West Van Academy teams, do you guys all play out of the same arena? Like, like for like the female U18 Bantam, do you guys all play out of the same arena?
Yeah, we'd all play out of Hollyburn. We just had the 4 teams. I think like somewhere like Delta had like 8 or something teams. So, but we just had the 4. We had Bantam Bar, Bantam Prep, and then E15 and midget. So it was it was easier to schedule that around in the same rink.
Okay. And for a game, when you're playing prep, would you guys what was your guys' schedule like with games? Like, how many games would you guys play in a season? Would you guys just play with teams from in the Lower Mainland, or would you go up to Kelowna and play Pursuit of Excellence and Okanagan Hockey Academy, and go out to Alberta and play those teams? Or were those kind of like just like tournament kind of situations you would meet those teams?
Well, we had a 30-game season in Bantam, and then midget it was 36. So we would just play on the weekends, and then we'd have 2 like showcases, which is where either we'd go to Alberta and play those teams, like the Manitoba teams and then or they'd come here. So we'd go there once, and then they'd come here once to play. So that was usually 3-game weekend.
Okay. So those showcases, were those considered to be your guys' tournaments, or those are showcases and on top of all that you guys went to 2 or 3 tournaments a year?
Yeah, those were part of their season, so those weren't tournaments. In Bantam we did I think 4 tournaments, and then in midget we did 1, and then we went to Boston for like a showcase thing.
Oh, how was that?
That was cool. Yeah, it was a big, like, obviously a lot of guys are interested in the college route. So, there's lots of schools there. We got to tour UConn and BU and stuff, some other places, and we got to watch a few college games. And obviously we got to play some games ourselves, so it was definitely cool.
Yeah, that would have been a killer experience to go to Boston and play hockey, especially against, I imagine there's a lot of East Coast teams over there, so you got to see that whole East Coast flavor of hockey. What was like, playing in that tournament? What was the main difference that you saw possibly? Was there like with the difference of how they played their game there compared to how, we play it, in Western Canada?
I didn't notice too many differences. I've been my spring team, we'd always go east like twice a year, so I've been playing there. I played there a lot, played those guys a lot, and it's not really too much different, but I didn't notice too much difference. It's just some different guys you're playing.
Well, still, that's pretty cool experience, going and playing more hockey, 4 tournaments a year, and that's probably 3-4 games. You get to play in that weekend, maybe even more. So just cool to play more hockey, and you get to miss school, so that's a bonus.
Yeah, for sure. That's a plus.
Okay, so we're gonna take a short commercial break, and then we're gonna come back and we're gonna continue with Connor's playing career at the West Van Academy, and then so we're just gonna talk about his U15 and U18 years that he played for the Warriors. So we're gonna have that and much more when we come back. Okay, and we're back here on the Sask Sports Show on Amateur Sports TV. I'm with Connor Bedard. We kind of got a little bit into his playing career, him playing for the North Shore Winter Club for his Pee-wee, and then jumping over and playing for the West Van Academy Warriors. So kind of right off the top, your 2018-2019 season with the Bantam Prep U15, you had 88 points in 30 games. That's obviously, and I think you played 30 games. So that's a pretty. You had like 3 points a game, or 2.5, 3 points a game. Obviously, not doing the math right off the top of my head, but kind of take me through that year. What opened up for you to be able to, get that many points?
I think you need some luck too to go. That's a lot of points, but it was that year was like, I think we weren't really expected. We came second in the regular season. We weren't really expected to do that, but we had probably the best room ever. Like I've been in. It was probably the most fun year I've ever had off the ice. So I think that helps. When you like the guys and you want to go to battle with them, and that sort of stuff. It's good. And then obviously good line mates. I played with Minton a lot. He's out in Kamloops now, but we kind of played together those 2 years at West Van, so he was really good. And then I think I had a good year, so everything kind of just fell into place that year, I feel like.
Well, in that year too, he was second behind you in points with 65. So
he had a good year.
I feel like you guys benefited being on the same line together, racking up the points, having good years. And and like everybody says, winning is about, there's no I in team and whatnot. So you kind of, especially with your high caliber of skill, sometimes that's not enough to to win every single game. Or it seems like you guys had a pretty tight knit, close team that you guys were able to play and play together and just work well together.
Yeah, definitely. I think we had great goaltending. We had good D, good forwards, and so I think we worked really well together as a team. I think we exceeded a lot of those expectations going into that year.
And what was the expectation of the team that year? Because you guys ended the season 26th 23-6-1. What was there? Some haters out there that didn't think you guys were going to get that good of a record?
Yeah, we were a young team, like, because it's second year and first year, so I think most people expected us. We had 6 first years, which I think to be. So I mean, people expected us to kind of be a middle of the pack, probably playoffs team, and then going into that next year, we were going to be pretty dominant. But I think, like I said, we fit so well together and had so much fun together that I think that changed a lot. And I think we did really well. Like you said, our record and second in the league. It was a real good year.
What if you had one moment out of the whole season? You could pick one. What was your funnest, favorite moment of that season?
Well, I'll do one on the ice. We were in a tournament, and we weren't really playing a great game. We were down 3-2 with for like the last 10 minutes of the game, and then Minty kind of got greedy goal with like 3 seconds left or something. And and then we went into OT and ended up winning, and that was like the semifinals of a big tournament. Then we ended up going on to that next game and winning that one. So that tournament, those 2 games were pretty exciting.
Oh, well, you know what? That's the funnest times, I think, for anybody is that tournament. But if you win like that, and you kind of cut out there for a minute, did you say that he scored with 3 seconds left?
Yeah, 3 seconds, like 3 points or something, and then so that was definitely exciting.
Was it an exciting goal, or was it kind of like you're in front of the crease and you get a good rebound, or it took a weird bounce?
He did like a half wraparound, I remember, and then he kind of like stuffed it in, and so it was like everyone was going nuts. So it was pretty exciting.
Well, that's if you had one moment to pick, that sounds like the moment. That's pretty exciting stuff. And then you played I think it was 2 games for your U15 elite team as well. U15. How was that for you? And why did you get to play those 2 games?
They probably just had some injuries or something, so they called someone up from our team, and I got to play those 2 games, and it was pretty exciting because they had a tough season that year, like win-wise. I think they were kind of bottom feeders, but one of the games we beat a good team, and so it was good, and obviously had to play with those older guys. It was pretty cool.
So in the whole scale of academy hockey, is elite above prep?
It's just older. Yeah, that would be E15's like U16, and then Bantam's U15.
Okay. It's you got to play a couple games, so that's probably pretty cool for you to get experience at.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so now we're moving into the 2019-2020 season. Obviously, in the I would say the first little bit of that 2020 season, COVID broke out and all hell broke loose in I think around the whole world. But you jumped up. You went from U15 Bantam Prep up to U18 Prep. You had 84 points in your first season in U18. You had 43 goals and 41 assists. It's pretty exciting stuff for jumping age groups and being a young guy in an older league. What was the biggest difference for you jumping from U15 to U18?
Yeah, I think just size and speed, kind of like I was saying, what was going to be like in the dub. Just that, it took a few games to adjust, but, I think I was able to kind of get going. And in that last half of the year, I think our team we were really buzzing, and I think we were going to do, we only got to play 1 game in playoffs, but, we were pretty confident in how we were going to do there. So it really sucked that it had to kind of end that way.
And what were you able to do? Like, going from Bantam up to U18 or midget, there's that difference. And most, kind of from what I've seen, most people that have high productive seasons in Bantam, might not have as much as a productive season in their first year midget. And you kind of stuck the same. You were only 4 points behind what you did in your second year of Bantam. Kind of what was working for you to be able to still consistently get that, that high point total?
Yeah, it's a team effort getting those points, and I think our power play we had a real good power play that year too. And then, just like I said, we were doing pretty well as a team. And then, kind of, there's some bounces you get, but I think overall, I think I was probably happier with that season than Bantam. Like I really developed a better game well, and obviously I was happy with both seasons, but I think that was a real good season. Obviously, our coach Steve Marr was awesome, and our practices were like crazy tempo and competitiveness. So I think that all helped well.
Well, seems like you did something right, especially in like you said though, it's a team effort for you to get those points too, because you had roughly about you had 43 goals and 41 assists, so you were kind of even on contributing to someone else's goal, and then also taking that goal for yourself as well. So because I'm pretty sure in Bantam you roughly had, I think it was 63 goals and 18 assists, somewhere in that area.
Yeah, I think it was like 60,
or 20,
64, 24 or something.
Yes, yeah, you're right.
That's a pretty big gap, but yeah.
And like you said though, the game's different when you go from Bantam to midget too.
Yeah, you can do a lot more by yourself in Bantam. It's only 1 year difference, but getting up to 3 year difference, it's different. But I think I was able to adjust pretty good.
And it's crazy that with 84 points, you still were you were second in the league. You were 4 points behind Zach Benson of Yale Hockey Academy at 88.
Yeah, that was different though, because he was still in the Bantam.
Oh, was he?
Yeah.
He's my mistake then.
Yeah, because he went. I know him pretty well. We've played a lot of spring hockey together, and he's a real good player. Yeah, that year, it was pretty crazy.
Okay, I have to ask you, in this 2020 WHL Bantam Draft, 11 of the top 20 picks were from the CSSHL. So what is the benefits to play in the CSSHL to kind of allow kids to get that opportunity to play in the WHL or go higher, go to college? Because that's 11 out of 20. It's more than half of the players that were picked in the top 20 were from the CSSHL, which is pretty crazy.
Yeah, I think just practicing every day is huge, and I think it's definitely the most competitive league and for BAM in Western Canada. So getting to play there, getting to play against the best, and then getting to practice every day, like I said, go to school with all your buddies that are on your team. It's just such a cool experience. So I think all factors.
Okay, what is the thing that you learn the most playing at West Van Academy?
I don't know. I mean, I think probably just getting to go on the ice every day, and seeing that's kind of like a junior NHL thing. Getting on the ice every day, which I was doing a lot in the off season and stuff. But then it's a lot tougher to get ice in winter. So kind of being with your team every day, and we were together all the time. Going to school and being in the gym, being on the ice. So I think just spending all that time with your team and really being like a family a bit, and kind of that sort of stuff.
Okay. And I'm kind of working near the end of the interview here, and one of my last questions before I kind of go to a rapid fire kind of game show kind of questions I have for you. What do you love most about the game of hockey?
I couldn't really pick one thing, but there's the friendships you make, the competitive nature, joy of like winning a championship or something like that. Those are all kind of things. And, I like the work. Going to practice, going to the gym. It's I enjoy that stuff. So I think it's kind of a mix of everything.
Okay. Yeah, no, I imagine it's probably hard to pick one thing that you love about the game.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so now we're almost concluding the end of the show. We're going to get into the Sask Sports game show that I have going on right now. I have 5 pretty interesting questions to ask Connor that kind of are related to hockey, kind of not. But number 1 is, you know how a lot of hockey players have hockey superstitions where they wear the same socks all year. They don't wash any of their clothes. They have to put the left skate on before the right. What do you like? Do you have one of those?
Oh, it's a lot more than one. I think my whole day is centered around that.
What kind of superstitions do you have?
I'll just bang out a few, but I don't like people touching my stick. I have when I shower before games, and I'll do like the exact like same thing with like the heat and stuff. I get dressed the same. I warm up the same. Kind of go like if we're warming up as a team, I'll always go a certain number in line. There's so many things, but those are just a few.
Okay. My second question is, obviously you kind of went over your pregame routine, but what's your pregame meal? Like, does your mom make a really good lasagna that you eat every time? You have pasta or cheeseburger, or kind of like, what's your pregame meal?
That's like the weirdest thing of how superstitious I am. That can change. But the night before, I always have like a burrito bowl. But the day of, it kind of switches around.
Okay. So there's is it kind of more what you were thinking, like kind of what you wanted to eat on that game day, or is it just kind of up in the air right at that moment? This is what I'm going to eat.
Yeah, kind of. It's usually like rice and chicken, or like pasta chicken. Those are the 2 biggest ones. But it can definitely vary.
Okay. Favorite hockey player of all time?
Crosby.
Okay. And what do you like most about Sidney Crosby?
I think as a kid, he was when I was growing up, he was the guy. He's like, so he's obviously fun to watch, and just the way he carries himself off the ice too is it's pretty special. And how much he's accomplished and just how good he is. It's fun to see.
Okay. So my 4th question is, if you could get drafted tomorrow, you were in the NHL entry draft, you knew you were going to get picked. What NHL team would you want to get drafted to?
I honestly don't care at all, but just being from Vancouver, I'll say them. But I really wouldn't care at all. Any team in the show it's pretty cool to go to, but I'm like a diehard Canucks fan, so I'll go with them.
Okay, it's not bad to skate with Elias Pettersson and Brock Besser and Jake Buchanan and Quinn Hughes, and now they got Braden Holtby, which is exciting.
Yeah, they're going to be exciting to watch. It was cool to see what they did last year in the playoffs.
Well, you know what really kind of stunned me was Markstrom leaving.
Yeah, I think that was just cap issues probably, but he was so good. It sucked for him to go, but it's part of the game.
Yeah, it is, and like you said, it could have been cap space. He could have wanted out. There could have been a number of reasons why he wanted to leave, but it's tough to see him go. But I feel like they filled that role pretty well. They're pretty set at goalie with Thatcher Demko and Braden Holtby. They got 2 really good goaltenders.
Yeah, definitely. Demko was, the 3 games he played, I think he had like a 975, 980 something save percentage, something ridiculous. So, he's definitely going to be good for a while.
Yeah. Okay, and my fifth and final question: what NHL hockey player do you kind of resemble, or think that you resemble, or want to be? Kind of their style of game is something that you want to adapt or kind of play like.
That's a tough question. I think if I had to pick one, it would be McKinnon, probably. But I mean, there's definitely differences. I don't think I'm really like a lot like one guy, but I watch a lot. I watch a lot of hockey, and I try to pick things up from those guys. But if I have to pick one, I'll go with McKinnon.
You know what? I can see that. I feel like you guys have that same, that speed, and the shot and the vision on the ice. So yeah, no, I can see that.
Yeah, I think that's probably the closest guy I can say.
Okay. Well, Connor, I really appreciate you joining me on the Sask Sports Show tonight. It was really great to get to know you and your past hockey playing career as well. And I just really want to say thank you.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It was good.
No worries. And you know what? I want to wish you luck once the WHL season does start, so you can actually play your 15-year-old year and make some history in the WHL.
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, I got one more question for you before I leave. It just came to me. Once you score your first WHL goal, obviously you're going to keep the puck. Who's the first person you're going to call?
I mean, I'll probably talk to my dad after every game, so I'll go with him. But I mean, yeah, I think that's just kind of I never really thought of that, but I talk to my dad after every game, so probably him.
Okay. No, the question just dawned on me, and I just kind of wanted to get your point of view on that, because I imagine it's you will get in those 24 games. I would imagine you're probably gonna at least get get that monkey off your back.
So. Yeah, I hope I can get at least one, but
well,
yeah, we'll see.
Well, again, thank you for joining the show tonight. It was really great to get to know you, and like I said, good luck with the Regina Pats this season. Getting to play your 15-year-old year.
Yeah, thank you.
No worries. So that concludes this episode of the Sask Sports Show on Amateur Sports TV. I just want you guys to tune in every Thursday night at 8 p.m. Central Time to catch every episode of the Sask Sports Show on Amateur Sports TV. Before we conclude this episode, I just wanted to thank the sponsor of the show, Southwest Terminal. So we'll be back next Thursday with another episode. Have a good night, and thanks for tuning in.